We see a lot of stuff happening with Trae Young. I know a lot of people don't like Trae Young, and it's crazy to me because you don't even fucking know him. Like, why don't you like him? But it's Trae Young's a hell of a player. He's a hell of a player, and he's a guy who doesn't really miss games. So those are two things you always have to look at when you're the Pelicans. Also, he's a distressed asset. If everyone loved Trae Young, if Trae Young was playing incredibly, if Trae Young got along with everyone, then you wouldn't be able to get him. That he wouldn't want to come to New Orleans, and they wouldn't be willing to get rid of him. Again, I'm gonna say this again. I don't care about Trae Young being undersized and his defense and all that. Trae Young is a hell of a player. You know what I'm saying? Trae Young can fucking play, and he can shoot. And who's to say Trae Young has peaked? Who's to say he's reached his ceiling? Yeah, he's a lot smaller than Steph Curry was. A lot smaller than Steph Curry was. But that's not to say that he can't improve on defense like Steph Curry. Steph Curry improved tremendously on defense. You know, and you just need him to be Steph Curry light. Really, you just need him to be Trae Young. If he can just be Eastern Conference Finals Trae Young, you know, for the majority of the time, you're good. Like, you ain't really tripping. So I think that's interesting. Now, what would it take to get Trae Young? I think you can get Trae Young with just picks and salary. If it's as bad as it's being reported, I think you can get Trae Young with just picks and salary. You know, Snyder over there, shout out to him. He don't really play that shit. He's not really a person who's like, you know, used to dealing with like certain type of personalities. So he's like probably a no nonsense kind of guy. And I think the last no nonsense kind of guy, Trae, got him fired. So shout out to Nate McMillan. So coming here, you can do whatever you want in this organization, Trae. So you'll fit right in, bro. Just come on over. You know what I'm saying? Welcome aboard. But can you imagine a starting five of Trae, Herb Jones, Trey Murphy, Brandon Ingram, Zion? Like, man, that would be crazy. That would be crazy. That would be like, come on, man. That would be phenomenal. That would be phenomenal. Like, that team would probably score 160 points a night. So for people turning up their nose at Trae Young, you got to understand Trae Young is only available because he is a distressed asset. If Trae Young was perfect, the Pelicans wouldn't stand a chance. And that's the sad truth about it, but it is what it is. So personally, I would make the call. And I think Trae Young is going to maintain his value. You know, he's not like overpaid. He's going to maintain his value. The Pelicans got a couple overpaid people. If you want to just talk about results on the floor, I think Trae Young is going to maintain his value. If it doesn't work out, you package him, move him out to another team. You know, maybe some other team feels like he's the missing piece. He's the last thing that they need to put them over the top. But I certainly would not turn up my nose at Trae Young. And ask yourself this: would you turn up your nose at Jalen Brunson? If the answer is no, then you shouldn't turn up your nose at Trae Young. So that's how I feel about it. I think if there's any chance to go get Trae Young with just salary and picks, that's the first call you make. The Pelicans were already talking to Atlanta about John Collins. It's like, yo, you know, whatever. Like, you know what I'm saying? John Collins, really good player. But if you can get Trae Young, you probably leaving John Collins at the altar. You know what I'm saying? It just is what it is. You know what I'm saying? This podcast is sponsored by the Birdsall Law Firm, the official injury lawyers of Boot Krewe Media, located at 918 Porter Street by the Superdome. Give them a call at 504-523-5413 if you or someone you know has been involved in an accident. And be sure to mention we sent you. Birdsall Law Firm, the official injury lawyers of Boot Krewe Media.